Hi, I'm Chris from Ezy Fit Doors. Today I'm going to show you how to install a hinged triple lock security door in a subframe. There is a couple of different ways of measuring. It depends if you have a rebate or not. So a rebate is this section here where the old screen doors used to go into. A lot of new doors these days don't have that. So we'll show you a measurement now for a subframe. There's a couple of different types of sills. We have a flush sill, a short sill, or an extended sill. On this situation we have a flush sill, so we'll put the tape measure just below the sill, 20mm, till above the daylight opening. You need to be 30mm above the daylight opening, and the daylight opening will be this measurement here. For the width, this is the daylight opening in between the two, the door jamb. So we need to be approximately 35mm each side of the daylight opening. That is 800mm, the daylight opening. So 35mm both sides, making this door 870mm is approximately okay. Your door handle here, most security door handles should go above this door handle in this space here. So once again, put your tape measure to the same place as you put it for the height and above, and get a measurement above that entrance set. This would be a right hand opening door. That means that lock will be on the right hand side and the hinges will be on the left hand side and opening this way. And with the extended sill, if the extended sill comes out, you just put the tape measure on top of the extended sill and then measure the height. So these doors with a subframe can be anywhere from about 2.60 m to 2130. There's a fair bit of give in a subframe, so that means you can be 5 or 10mm out and the door will still fit. Unlike a rebate system where you must measure to this part here of the rebate for the height and this part here for the width, this measurement needs to be almost spot on for the door to fit inside. In that situation, you put the tape measure on top of the sill and measure to the shortest distance in height, and that's being checked from the right hand side to the left hand side, and take the shortest distance. On the width, same situation. Put your tape measure across inside the rebate and measure 820mm and take the shortest measurement out of the three measurements for your width. Right, so I'm going to show you how to install a triple lock security door in a subframe. The door is already fitted inside the subframe in the factory, so you don't actually need to hang the door. You're just fitting the door to the face of the door jamb. The hinges are in place, the triple lock's in place, and the striker plates are all screwed on to the subframe. I've got a piece of 20mm architrave here that I'll put on top of the mat, and then we'll set the door on top of that. The bottom of the door must sit on top of the bit of wood, not the subframe itself. So therefore I've positioned it into the middle of the doorway, and then we can adjust the door as we're installing it to get it level with the brickwork. Right, so now we've got the door in position, and we know that the door needs to be from each side of the brickwork the same distance. So we adjust it as it is to get it in the right position, and then you may need to use a screwdriver to adjust the door up or down to the desired result. You can actually put your foot on the screwdriver and lift it up and down. So now I'll grab the drill, screw. We need to put the top left hand screw in on the hinge side first. Drill the bottom one in. So then we have the hinge side pinned in position, and then proceed to the lock side to start drilling that one. Okay, now that we've got the screws in the hinge side, what we need to do is you can now remove the chock from under the doorway and start focusing on screwing the lock side in position. So we'll start with the top screw first, then we'll go to the bottom screw, all the time using that spacer to get the gap between the door and the subframe even all the way down. Once the top and the bottom screws are in, we've opened and closed the door, and we like the positioning of the door. We've looked at the door from the inside and out. Then we can proceed to put the screws in, the 2 screws in the lock side, the 2 screws that are left in the lock side, and the 2 screws that are left to go in the hinge side. We'll drill the hole first and then put the large screw in. Remove the spacer out of there. Use a screwdriver if you like, just to widen up the gap. Put the spacer in. Doesn't matter if the spacer falls out. You've already drilled the hole and that's the right setting. Then from there, what we'll do is open the door up and check it before we go put all the screws in the whole subframe. Check out the opening and closing of the door. We also need to go inside to see if there's any gaps appearing from the inside before we screw the rest of the screws in. So we put the spacer in between the subframe and door frame again, and put the screws in these 4 holes that are left. We don't need the spacer for the hinge side. We can just drill these 2 here and put the other screws in. We'll supply you with the plugs once the screws are put in the holes, and the plug will just fit snugly in there. Tap them in with a hammer. All the way around. Once that's done, you need to fit the closer, and the instructions for fitting the closer are written on the box that is supplied with the door. Also, the bug strip down the bottom needs to be installed as the last thing. This bug strip will either go on the outside or the inside of the door. It really just depends on what type of doorway you have. On this particular door, it fits on the inside and fills up the gap underneath.